Welcome again. I will share the presentation right away as well, so that you can actually see it. Yeah, again, very good afternoon from Austria. So that's the upside of having this virtual meeting. We can really meet from different places in the world, which is really awesome. So I'm really happy to be here, and thank you again for setting this up in Serbia, and thank you for inviting Kotany to hold this short presentation. My name is Dominik Mattes, and I have the pleasure to lead the marketing and innovation team here in the headquarters in Austria, and we are responsible to support the countries that we actually have in rolling out ideas, in rolling out central brand messages, and of course in rolling out innovation as well. Kotany as such, we are a spice producing company based in Austria, that's where the headquarters are. Actually, the history began 140 years ago in Hungary, in Szeged. And nowadays we are really market leader in, of course, in Austria and in many of Central and Eastern European countries as well. So yeah, really successful history about the last 140 years, which then, of course, now brings us to the main question, 140 years of company legacy in combination with the aspiration of continuous innovation and growth. Is this rather a curse or a blessing with having all the history? So that's what I would like to discuss in the next minutes. And of course, after my session, I would like to invite you to kind of, if you have any questions, please raise them and I will be happy to answer them. There is a saying, and that saying actually is that fortune favors the brave. And this saying, I must say, really holds especially true for our company, because 140 years ago, there was a fine gentleman. His name was János Kotany. He was of Hungarian descent, and he actually decided to kind of be brave and be a pioneer and open his own paprika mill in his hometown in Szeged in Hungary 140 years ago, and really that really laid the foundation and the brickstone for the company's success that we are happy to live on until today. And there is a remarkable and very, for us, famous quote of János Kotany at that time. And he said, your idea doesn't have to be big. It just has to change the world. And this somehow is, still the target, the goal that we have, working on the ideas that we have, working on great and natural products. Yeah, it's herbs, it's spices. So it's all given by nature, and really kind of make the things that we have into big ideas, and in the end satisfy our customers and consumers likewise. So this is where it all started off. Again, 140 years of history, that's a lot. Everything started with János Kotany. You can see in the left again on the screen now, 140 years ago. Nowadays, the company is still 100% in the hands of the Kotany family, and is currently led and managed by Mr. Erwin Kotany. He's a fourth generation of the Kotany family. So it's still, we're really a proud and 100% Austrian family-owned business. And that really makes us special, and really is even incorporated into, I would say, the corporate values that we have, that they're shown on the downside of the screen, which I will focus on in the next few minutes. As you can see, the company values that I'm showing here, it's passion, it's creativity, it's family spirit, and entrepreneurship. And from this, you can see that on a very early stage already, the passion is what really differentiates us maybe from other companies, because we really love what we do. We love the herbs, we love the spices. We are always looking for highest and best quality, because only then can we be really satisfied and can satisfy our customers. Creativity, that's the innovation part that we have. We really want to inspire people, and this is really that has been changed about during the last years, because of course we started as, I would say, a production-based and production-focused company. Nowadays, we really aim at being consumer-centric and taking the consumer in all the center and focus of what we do when it comes to creativity, when it comes to communication, and of course when it comes to product innovation. And then the other two factors, family spirit, of course, we're family-owned, so we're really living a family spirit, family values, the belonging to a group. This is something that is really important for us, and this is something that we're actually fighting for. And this is what differentiates us from bigger corporation, I must say, as well. And then, of course, the entrepreneurship, the pioneer spirit that we have, that started with János Kotany in 1881. And that is now kind of really like lived very proactively by Mr. Erwin Kotany as well. Talking about pioneer spirit in the 80s and 90s of the last century, when most of the Austrian companies decided when it came to export to move to Western Europe, to move to the US, Mr. Kotany decided, no, we're going in a different direction. We are going to cater our products to Central and Eastern European countries, and that really like paid off in the end. And nowadays, as I just said before, we are happy and the market leaders in lots of Central and Eastern European countries, and we're even market leaders in Russia, I must say. So you can see that pioneer spirit is something that is really linked very closely to the company and to what we do. Nowadays, to kind of round off the picture, as I just said, we are market leaders in many Central and Eastern European countries. We're currently present with own subsidiaries in 20 countries, but we're still really expanding and growing. For instance, we are doing a nice business in Brazil already. We have a colleague in South Korea, and we just started a business in Malaysia as well. So we really like to expand as well, because only then can we grow and only then can we expand and bring in new ideas likewise. Along with the exportation and with the growth that we have into new countries and new areas, of course, the export quota is growing as well. It's nowadays around about 70% of all the products that we produce that are exported. And we have a total of 4,500 products in the portfolio, which is based on, I would say, 400 to 450 base products. And then we have, of course, country-specific language mutations, packaging, different packaging in retail, in gastronomy, so that in the end, it adds up in a very complex portfolio of 4,500 products. We employ globally around 600 employees, 300 thereof are based in Austria in headquarters, which you can see on the bottom of the slide as well. And the other 300 are spread out in all our countries. It is really remarkable and something that we really want to stress, that the global production for the whole globe is really taking place here in Wolkersdorf. We just have the production facility right beside me, so that in the morning when you come to the factory, you really smell like if you're producing something like a gingerbread, for instance, or if you're just producing a pepper or basil. So this is something very, very some sensoric marketing, I must say, in the end, and you can really smell the product that they're working on. And of course, we are certified at the highest degrees in IFS and ISO standards likewise. So as I said, fortune favors the brave, but the question is, as competition gets fierce, markets get more dynamic, even without the corona pandemic that we have, but there's lots of more dynamic in there. So is being brave really enough? For us, in the end, it is not. For us, being prepared is key as well. Being brave, being a pioneer on the one hand, being prepared on the other hand, that is the recipe that we are following. And this is what I would like to talk to you about when it comes to specifically innovation within our company. When it comes to preparation, what we do have is, of course, a very solid strategy foundation in the company that I'm showing you here at a glimpse at the house that we have of innovation, where you can actually see that the brand management and the product marketing innovation are really basic foundations of all that we do. Brand management is really part of the foundation of the company, of our strategy, together with corporate social responsibility, which is as well very much important for us. And the people, all the human resources that we have, also very much important as being a family company. And then aside of the other, I would say, like strategy pillars, there's product marketing, and then there's innovation. So you can see it's not something that's end in itself, I'm saying we're doing innovation, but it's really something very vital and something that is really part of the success and part of our like annual target and goal setting, as well as being an innovative company. And I would now like to really switch into the operative side of our business and tell you how we actually handle the innovation part, how we actually move on, how we define innovation, which kind of watch outs we actually have when it comes to innovation, and at the same time, the heritage of 140 years and how we conquer all these challenges. Basically, and very bold, what is an innovation for us? What do we count as an innovation? For us, it is any product or concept that is newly launched in one of our countries. So as you can see, we're really talking about the products here. We're talking about product concepts. In our definition, we are not talking about corporations. We are not talking about communication. We're not talking about promotions. This is something that is, of course, part of marketing as well, part of creativity. But innovation for us is really linked to a product. That can actually span from new technologies, when it comes to fielding new technologies on the market based on new trends. For instance, plant-based food as new technology. So this is one hand. Then there's new concepts. We have, for instance, just launched an apple snack, apple chips product that is really crunchy and coated with products that actually we have in-house, the herbs and the spices. So we have an apple chip with cinnamon, with mint, with rosemary, and very nice products, new concepts that again then help us to kind of break out of the spice shelf as well. It is classical line extensions. It's language mutations, what I just meant before. For instance, if we launch a product in Austria, we have a mill in Austria, we have a pepper mill in Austria, and we'll then even launch it in Serbia, then of course we need to amend the labels to comply with local standards. That's a language mutation. And again, that is for us a part of innovation, and then classical relaunches as well. So this is very, very bold, the definition that we live when it comes to innovation. Talking a bit about the strategic settings, we really tried and we really moved on from being production-oriented, production-centric, to being a consumer-centric company. That's why basically, of course, all the innovation that we're following, the concepts that we're following, they are based on, or at least cross-checked with mega trends and food trends, so that really there's a fit to it. And this is done on market and on country basis. So this is not just a global definition. It is really very precisely done on market and country basis. But at the same time, we really try to focus on the competences that we have as a brand and as a corporation, because that's one thing of the flip sides, I must say, of having this 140 years of history. People really have a very strong perception of the competences of Kotany and of the things that might not really fit to Kotany. So there's lots of, I would say, power involved in kind of bringing in new concepts, new products that are not basically part of, I must say, herbs and spices industry. So this is something as a watcher that we have to take into consideration. What we actually do as well is we differentiate between quick wins and strategic innovation. Quick wins are products, are ideas that we can easily implement within like 12, 14, 16 weeks. If there is an idea, if there is an input coming, for instance, from a market, from the Adriatics, we can easily jump on that. If we have the like ready produced, maybe even the recipes in-house, if product development is really ready. So this is a quick win, and we try to push quick wins to the market as soon as possible, in the end, to satisfy customers and consumers likewise. And then the strategic innovation, these are the innovations that really focus on, again, jumping on trends that just came up, or even create trends. And this is all based on the mega trends. Of course, strategic innovation, we need a bigger time frame for this. But again, talking about innovation for us, we really want to see products on the market within a time frame of 36 to maximum 48 months. So talking about innovation, we're really like close to putting into action when it really comes to product development, from the idea to product development to launching the products. When we talk about the countries, where we launch, when do we launch, we really look at the country specifics. When it comes to strategic innovation, we really focus on pilot countries firsthand. In the second step, of focusing on countries where we see the most potential to roll out. And last but not least, want to have all the other countries following that trend. And this is how we manage it. And this is something that we discuss between headquarters and our countries very precisely and in depth. And of course, the time frame, as I just said, for us, it's really, we want to be fast. So it's a short and medium-term development that we are focusing on. What we did as well, we changed our innovation process in 2019 to really give it a push. The PIP stands for Product Innovation Process. Basically, what we did is we kind of really digitalized idea submission, the collection of ideas, the collection of trends, to really have a central platform for trends, which is now really the basis and the capital of the innovation management that we have, where we can take all the resources that we need. So this is something that we did in 2019. And of course, very much important for us, it's not about only planning ideas planning concepts, creating concepts and rolling them out, it is really important for us to track them as well. We want to have the numbers. We need to do some number crunching to ensure that all the effort that we put into innovation in the end, of course, pay off for the customers and for us likewise. So this is something that really comes down to post-launch tracking, where we very precisely track per country, per market, per customer, per trade channel, how the innovation in the end developed. An interesting thing now, what happened when we did this push in 2019, when we changed things, within an instant, we received a huge number of idea submissions from within the company, from our countries, from production. And since June 2019, so it's almost 2 years, we received more than 280 idea submissions. So it's a huge spectrum of ideas. But what we saw as well, that within this huge spectrum, we have a broad range of ideas, from very conservative ideas that you can see on the left of the slide right now, to very progressive ideas on the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum. So it started with, for instance, a combined pepper and salt mill, which is a very convenient thing to do. Then we're talking about alternative proteins, like plant-based proteins. Then we had some idea submissions connected to using insects, because this is, of course, a trend as well. And on the far right progressive side, it was the idea to have a meat mill. So if you know the beef jerky that they're serving in the United States, an idea connected to this, having kind of a beef jerky in a mill. So you can see a broad range of ideas. And in the end, what we need to do is really to focus on efficiency and effectiveness when it comes to product development. And because otherwise there's too much waste of, I'd say, like money and time likewise. And we really need to focus on precise ideas. So what we learned is, of course, huge history, lots of ideas, but in the end, we have to bring it down, we have to narrow it down and focus on ideas. And now in the next few minutes, I would like to tell you how we work on this narrowing down of the ideas and how we look into the future and see to really focus on the ideas, focus on the concepts that we deem have the most potential for the markets in future. For that, we decided to join forces with an Austrian innovation agency. They're called Lead Innovation. And together with them, we developed the concept for us, which is kind of they have an approach, but we customized it for us and working on Kotany specific search fields. And they should really act as an, I would say, strategic tool for us when it comes to innovation. Talking about the search fields, we really want to define and really narrow down just a few future subject areas where we see the most potential for the company based on the trends, based on what customers need to be successful in future. The search fields as such should really be a bridge between the company strategy, the aim that we have in innovation, and in the end, support each other and really interact with each other. The hard thing is to really kind of narrow down to 3, 4, or 5 search fields that you're working on, coming from 260 ideas. So this is a hard funnel that you have to go through, but in the end, it really pays off because you can really centralize and really like tie up the energies that you have on specific projects and specific concepts, and not get lost by developing like 260 ideas. The process that we're following, it's a 6-step process in the end, divided into 2 phases. There's the planning phase, which is the phase number 1, and development phase, phase number 2. Of course, there's a kickoff to the whole process, but then when it comes to trend research, and that's the basic and the foundation of everything for us, is we really doing the desktop research that we have using external, of course, sources as well, like Nielsen data, like Mintel data, etc., to get the market intelligence. But then what we do as well is, and with what we did in this project, is really have qualitative interviews with the major stakeholders in the countries, on the trade side, etc., to get really their feeling about trends that might come up, trends that are relevant for Kotany. And we did the same thing with the quantitative research within the company as well, to get even more information. Based on that, based on the trend collection, we move forward to a trend analysis, where we really kind of, again, then split up and divide which trends are really relevant for us. This is a discussion that is taking place between external experts when it comes to trends and to the industry, and our internal resources. So this is a huge group that is working on that. And based on that, we're really, again, next step number 4, evaluating opportunity spaces. So these are spaces that we deem important, that we deem having some potential to create innovation. Talking about opportunity spaces, you can narrow it down to 20, 30, 40 opportunity spaces. And then it really gets down to the defined and specific search fields, where we actually decided on we want to work on 4 to 5 search fields at the same time, very precisely bringing it down, very precisely defining what you're working on, and then focusing on these search fields. And based on that, again, in broader groups, in cross-functional workshops, within the headquarter team, marketing team, within the headquarter innovation management board, and the countries as well, develop ideas and develop concepts that in the end really fit to these products and search fields, and define products that really fit to the market needs that we have as well. So this is a process that we started, that we're actually currently in, but we really see that this is a step forward to really narrow it down and bring focus to the future, focus to what we need and to be successful. I just want to briefly show you how a search field kind of looks like from the outline. A search field for us always has 4 dimensions. It's the time, it's the timing from the speed to the market, when we want to have the product, the concept on the market. It's defined by the type of innovation. Is it, of course, totally new to the world, new to the market, etc.? The degree of innovation, is it rather like incremental or radical? And of course, the target group as well. So it's not something that is very, very easy to define, to really be specific, but there's lots of energy flowing into the search fields to define them. And of course, I will not kind of reveal the search fields that we're working on right now, but hopefully you will see the products on the shelf within the next 3 to 4 years maximum. And then in the end, it really pays off on what we're doing here. Just a quick deep dive, or a quick dive into consistency and communication consistency when it comes to the rollout of like product ideas, product concepts, and global consistency. Because you can imagine 140 years of company history, very successful countries, very successful local markets. So everybody kind of really found their own way over the years, over the decades of communication. But in the end, for us, it's really important as well to be consistent. And when it comes to consistency, we have 4 pillars that we kind of really base consistency on, and then a rule of thumb when it comes to local adaptation. The 4 pillars, basically, just very briefly sum it up, all the images, all the logos, all the websites that we have globally, they all have the same look and feel. Yeah? It's easier said than done, but now we started like 2 years ago to really have one global outlook and one look and feel, and now we are already there. Again, package design, something that is of course important as being consistent throughout all the markets. Like the wording, the language that we use, even if it's in country-specific language, but the tone of voice should of course be consistent as well. And that starts with the claim that we have when it comes to web or marketing copy, to newsletter content, to how we communicate on the packaging. Again, words are something that is really important for us, that they are consistent as well. And yet again, the interaction. Nowadays, we're interacting via video. But again, if the sales forces like really visit our valued customers, we want to have really that one voice that they're speaking. We have a very specific behavior that we actually kind of really want to show as being a family-owned company. So there is something that we really want to act as very, very polite, very open people. So this is something that is important for us as well. And again, part of the consistency that we need. And then, yet of course, the whole thing together, that's the experience that customers and consumers have likewise when they enter our websites, the quality of the products that we have, not only the products in the pouches, in the packaging, but the quality of materials that we deliver to trade partners, quality of communication materials, all that together, responsiveness, speed of responsiveness in customer service, in all that. So this all comes together for us into brand consistency. But now being a global company and having very specific local markets, there's of course always a question, what weighs more, what's more important, global consistency or local adaptation in the end? And our objective really is to make sure that, of course, we use the global advantages that we have, but really try to comply to local needs. Because we see, of course, that the market in Germany, the market in Russia, the market in Serbia has different needs. And we really want to cater them and really act as being locals as well at the same time as being a global company. So this is something that is important for us. So the key rule for us is to drive, of course, international brand consistency by using uniform logos, visuals, the key messages, of course, and be really corporate identity, corporate design compliant. But on the other hand, using the 80 and 20 rules, really looking on country specifics, making sure with my colleagues in the countries that we comply 80% to the corporate standards that we have, and then giving the countries more or less 20% of freedom to really adapt to local market needs. And that's what we see is really a difference as just being having like one concept for all the countries versus having this 80 to 20 rule and then really being able to adapt and being flexible to local needs. And this is something that we're actually proud of and something that we'll keep for future as well. So this is, again, very important for us. I'm almost at the end of my presentation, but when it comes to innovation, when it comes to consistency, when it comes to like the 140 years of successful history that we have, there's one more thing that is really, really, really important for us. And this is what I can really sum up in a quote that was actually said by late Peter Drucker, who was an Austrian economist. He said it's very true that actually culture is strategy for breakfast. You need to bring your people on board to go together, to pull into the same direction, because otherwise you can set up the leanest and sleekest innovation processes. You can have the best marketing concepts. It's about the culture of the people, and they really make the difference. And this is what we are proud of at Kotany, that we have a uniform culture, that we have a culture of being very open, a culture of being entrepreneurs, being pioneers. And this is what makes us successful in the end. And this is why we really move on into this direction. And that already answers the questions where I started my presentation. Is it rather a curse or a blessing to have this history? Of course, for us, it is a huge blessing. We have a very successful foundation. It's 140 years of success, 140 years of proving that this company is able to deliver quality, proving that this company is able to grow, and this company is able to inspire our customers and consumers since more than 140 years now. So in the end, to really sum it up, it works. 140 years is something that you should handle with care, something that is a burden as well, something that is very, very precious. We're working on this without kind of forgetting the past, but we're looking into the future with all the innovation aspiration that we have. And at the same time, the most important thing is the people that we have in the company. It's the culture that we have. And this is something that makes us in the end successful. So one final message from my side is, be bold, everybody, be brave, be brilliant. Better times will come after Corona as well. But then in the end, be prepared as well. Thank you. This was it from my side. I would be more than happy if you have any questions now to answer them right away. It would be very nice to raise them in English language because otherwise I would not be able to answer them for you right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, actually, Dominik. Yes, we will have some questions in English. And you said culture eats strategy, and I and probably the other people in Serbia eat your spices for a breakfast, lunch, dinner. So you must be very lucky working for this company, because while you're talking, all the time I could feel the smell of parsley, dill, oregano, etc., etc. So as you said at the end, inspiration as one of key components of success, especially in the time of Corona, where people were really inspired to cook and to experiment. We could see also this trend around the globe, but we also see the trend here in Serbia. So what do you think, will this trend remain, or in which direction will go this trend of experimenting in cooking? Will it stay, or?
I mean, basically what we experienced in the last year, we really, of course, that was an upside for us. We're really happy that people kind of really, in the end, had to stay at home more or less and try to experiment and of course, consumer products, because in the end it was very good turnover for us as well, which we can at the same time then I would say invest into, for instance, the gastronomy business as well, to help them recover. But I must really say, and then again talking about mega trends as well, for instance, like work-life balances or new ways of working, I must really say I think that this experimenting will stay. Of course, people will start again to cook in bigger groups and not just do the lunch for themselves. But I think trends that we experience not only in Austria but in our country as well, of course, baking your own bread, experimenting with nice and fresh products. So these are things that I think that they will stay. Of course, as soon as the gastronomy opens globally, people will go to gastronomy as well, which is of course something we cater the products to as well. So it's not a big issue for us. But I really believe that these trends will stay. And what I believe as well is that when it comes to health and how we measure health, I think this will change as well. Like from tracking your own body that we had in the last years and like putting health to a very high degree. Yeah, I think nowadays health really means the absence of any diseases. So we're really, I think, back down to earth. And when it comes to like being down to earth is about consuming maybe regional, fresh, nice products, doing something good to your body, but at a level that is, I would say, normal and not something that you exaggerate and you measure everything and you count every calorie. I think this is something that changes as well. And to me personally, this is a change into a nice direction, because in the end it makes food and enjoying food more and more worthwhile.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Dominik, so much, and good luck with your business and life. Yeah.